This is our trip to Kennedy Meadows and surrounding areas in June 18. We had Mike, myself, Dave, and Steve. A little bit smaller group than usual. Had breakfast there in Mojave at Denny's, usual place, and then went up a little farther north to Dove Springs and went into that park along the California Aqueduct there. That whole section of that trail is um, based on the surface roads over the aqueduct. Came into this canyon in Dove Springs, hoping to get over that mountain range. Steve gave us a nice dusting with this trail there. As we turned around, Dave got a little dust shower. We needed to come back out. We took a wrong turn and could not get over the range on this canyon road, so backtracked. Really nice area by the Joshua trees, then back down by the aqueduct here again. To go around and then up a little bit farther north towards Lake Isabella. This is Highway 178 going across, then over towards the Chimney Peak area. There's a road off in the distance that we're going to ride up to the pass. Really nice clear day here as we go up the mountain pass. This is basically fire roads and it's up to the camping area. This is kind of neat. We came back down the hill. I was in the lead and came across a rattlesnake. You can see here in my windscreen. I think that's a Mojave green rattlesnake, pretty aggressive. And I managed to miss him. But by the time I turned around, he had gotten himself off the road, but close call. Then up to the top of the Chimney Peak Pass, and then up towards the Kennedy Meadows camping area. Quite a few bikers out today. See the beautiful blue skies. This is a little bit higher elevation, a few thousand feet. And then up to the camp area, $4.90 for gas. A little bit salty there. And then up into the meadow area, really nice and green with lots of water up here. And making our way down to this trail. This is the Menachie Trail down to Menachie Meadows. This is a road that people take down to a campground. It's really a fun trail for technical riding. It's got kind of a windy, sandy trail, so it's a little slippery, a little rocky. The tree shadows make it interesting because as you're going a little faster, the tree roots and shadows and rocks kind of get mixed together. Makes it a little difficult. I actually bent my rim on the way down this hill, and Mike bent his front rim on the way up this hill. We go in to the meadow going down this hill and then have to come back up, so it's an in and out type trail. Just waiting for the guys to come down this little swale here, but really nice day, lots of rocks, interesting stuff to look at here. Now we exit the mountain and are down in the meadow. This is near the Kern River, north of Lake Isabella, on our way out to the river crossing. So there's not much of a river here. This is up a little bit farther north at the headwaters before it all collects together down in a little bit farther south. So Mike crossing, it's not very deep here, maybe, I don't know, 8 or 10 inches. And a little bit of rocks on the bottom, so it's real easy to cross, not too slippery. A little bit of sand at the entrance. But always fun to do the water crossings. There's some other people out here you can see in the other vehicles. There's a campground up in the woods there, so this is a fairly popular area. So we just cross the river, go out in the fields a little bit, and then come back across the river here again on our way back to do the return trip. You can see some people here in their rafts. The water was low enough that they were getting stuck in rafts and canoes, so it really wasn't much flow at all. Remember, this is June, so this is definitely the lower season of the river, but it's still pretty. And finally Dave here crossing. There you can see the depth. We stopped here for lunch, had a little snack, and then we drive back out. This is a dirt bike trail Mike was pointing out.
Dirt bike trail.
That looks fun.
Very familiar with all these trails up here, having ridden them as many times in dirt bikes and then these big bikes. So now our climb back out. Somewhere in here Mike smacked his rim, as I said, on the front on a tree root. But the camera always takes away some of the steepness, so this gets into a nice little rocky section to climb back out. Nice, fun, winding little technical rides here. So this turns into some rock here. The whole goal is to keep moving, stand up if you need to maintain balance, and as long as you get the momentum and the throttle there, you can climb a pretty good hill even on these big bikes. There you can see some of the big tree roots and rock edges there. It's today not with camping gear. We don't have our side bags on. So we're just doing a day trip here. This is a long day trip up to this location. Now we're back to the road back over to the next area. We're coming back to the Sherman Pass Road and then cut across to the southwest. This is really pretty high elevation views of the Sierras off to the east there, and this is climbing. We go up to about 9,000 feet here into an overlook. We've been trapped up here before in a thunderstorm. This is a much more pleasant day. Yeah, this is the overlook. This is at over 9,000 feet and looking east to the Sierras and Mount Whitney. There's Steve there in the Africa Twin, Mike on his bike, Dave's behind me. Really nice rocks formations here, nice high elevation forests. Just a beautiful ride. We're heading down here to Johnsondale, a little bit farther down the hill, and then we'll get back on some dirt to make our way back towards the southwest. There's some nice rock formations up on the ridge. Heading down towards Johnsondale. Now we are back over another section of the Kern River here. This is a little bit bigger flow area. I think there's some rafting places down the bottom of that. There's a little waterfall on the left. And we're climbing back up. We're just north of Lake Isabella, and then into Johnsondale. This is a little RV park. Then we cut across to take this fun dirt trail, only to find that the gate is closed. That usually doesn't stop us, as was the case here. Mike went over and checked it out. There's a ravine down the side, so we got 500-pound adventure bikes here. So the goal is to have nobody dump their bike down that ravine. The key is not to lean left because you've got nothing to put your foot down. So a little slippery, a little rocky, very loose, about 6 inches of powder here. But as long as you don't lean left, you don't fall over into the ravine. So just take your time and scoot around the gate and get that done. Three of us there, and then number 4 here coming across, no problem. So this ended up being a nice little fire road. Mostly gravel like this. This is pretty slippery when you get gravel on top of the hardpack. This is the last trip I took before I broke my leg in Santa Barbara in the mountains in late July. So this is one of the last big ones. Getting good views of the Sierras here. This ride took about 450 miles, maybe a bit more for a day trip. It's quite a long ways, but it's pretty fast on a road like this. It's a 2-lane road in here, but you just have to be careful around the curves for motorcycles, and never see a car up here, but a couple bikes once in a while, so have to be careful for that. And just totally worth it to drive on a road like this on a beautiful day like this. Lots of landslides and rock slides, but really don't go too fast in this area. It's just a beautiful view. That's out towards Mount Whitney, towards the east. See Steve's bike there, mine. There's Steve in the black, Dave in the red, Mike on the blue bike. A little smaller group than most. There's a motorcyclist as we came around the corner. Good example of how not to be in the wrong side of the road, just getting lazy, but you never know when someone's going to show up. It's a real nice valley there. I think this is down in the Tobias Creek and Bull Run area, and then this is some forestry work that was going on. Some equipment made for some interesting riding, lots of logs and sticks on this particular road. There's actually pavement under here. This is Steve in front of me now. But a little bit of sawdust and logging material on this road, so you have to be careful you don't kick up a log or something up under the bike. It's a little bit slippery with the debris on top of that pavement. Here's some more forestry area. You can see the sort of the shape of the trees. This has also been burned in here. This is why they're probably cutting these trees down. This is, I think, one of the last rides that I had before I broke my leg, so just finally getting to the video here 6 months later. This is on the way down now, back towards probably the Bakersfield area, up heading southwest. Stopped here, I think, to put a jacket on. It got a little bit colder. But coming out of the mountains and heading down into the plains near Bakersfield. Still a really nice view. Pretty lightly traveled roads. Get back just around sunset here in the middle of June. A couple extra cows on the road here. This particular road we've seen cows on before. There's just no fences around the open range. And then down the hill towards the plains nearby Bakersfield. Really nice trip. I always enjoy going up to Kennedy Meadows, across the river, and just have a nice ride on that sandy, curvy road. Here's a couple still shots